Alright guys, LiciousKid from ClimaxCombo here again. Just re-uploading my Devil Survivor 2 deck profile since the last one got deleted because of stuff and junk. But yeah, it's the exact same deck, nothing has changed in this build, so if you guys already seen that last deck profile, there's honestly not much of a reason for you to watch this deck profile. But yeah, the deck is yellow-blue because those are the only two colors available in Devil Survivor. And yeah, like always, I'll be explaining how I play the deck, or every card in the deck, how I play the deck level by level, and some alternatives I guess I would run to the deck. But yeah, if you want to see the deck in action, links are in the description as always. So yeah, I'll just get right to it. First card, Hibiki 00500 Global. Whoops. That's better. Anyways, 500 Global, or okay, 00 Hibiki, 500 power. This card is pretty key to the deck. He's 500 global to summoners and demons, which is the entire deck, but one card. I'll tell you what that card is when I get to it. But yeah, he's a 500 global essentially. He has another effect for every time a summoner gets reversed, you must put the top card of your deck underneath him as a marker. And his last effect is when you hit 11 markers, you must send them all to the waiting room, and then you get to bring out level 3 Lucifer from your hand or waiting room and put it onto play in rest. I'll explain what what Lucifer does when I get to him. 1 second, guys. Everything's out of order. Yeah, so that's what Hibiki does. He's very important to the deck. I'll talk more about him a little later. But yeah, 3 of those. Next up, we have the 00 Eos, 500 in front, and every time, or 500 in front, and she is a brainstorm. I can pay 1, tap 2. For every climax mill 4, every climax I hit, you get to search for a summoner in the deck, which is, like I said, almost the entire deck. I'll tell you what's not a summoner when they come up. But yeah, Eddie, or not. Damn it.
Whoa.
EO, good
Using our waifus, man.
EO, good cards. Next up, 00 Daichi, the main beater for level 0. He's 2-5, but if you have 2 or less stock, he is plus 15, so he's a 004K essentially, which is pretty solid. Next up, we have these Makotos. 00 Makoto, 2.5K. If you have 1 or less other character, then she gets plus 1K and hand encore, so she's essentially a 3-5 hand encore, which is pretty good. Next up, we have these IDs, 0025. Generic on play, pay 1, discard a card, search your deck for a summoner, and add it to your hand. And lastly, I have run one of these Fumis, 00 1500 power. She has a startup. You can pay 1, discard it, or you can pay 1 to draw a card and then discard a card. Pretty generic. And then her other effect is during your opponent's turn, the center character gets plus 1K. So yeah, that's all there is for level 0. That's 3, 6, 10, 13, 15, 16 level 0s. On to level 1, we run 3 of these Hibikis, 105K. He gets 500 per level 0 on the field, so if you have a full field of level 0s, before assist he hits 7K, which is pretty good. Next up, 3 of these EOs, 116K. She has Clock Encore, and she has another effect where every time one of your other summoners attack, she gets plus 1K until the end of the turn. So if the other 2 characters attack before her, she gets 118K, which is okay. Next up, we have this guy. He is the only card that's not a summoner, and he is not a demon. He is a Septentrian, so he doesn't synergize with any of the stuff in the deck. But still, I still run 3 of him. What he does, he's a 105K, and he combos with the 2K1. When he attacks with the 2K1, you can pay 1, discard a card. If you do, you can search your deck for 1 Hibiki and 1 Yamato, and add it to your hand. You must search out 1 of each. So if you don't have any Yamatos, you can't search 2 Hibikis, and vice versa. So yeah, you have to search 1 Yamato and 1 Hibiki. There are more Yamato cards in the deck, so I'll show them as they go along. But yeah, that is what Alcor does. He essentially pluses you 1. But so yeah, that's Alcor for you. Next up is this Daichi backup. It's a 1-1-2-5 backup. No, 1-1-15 backup. But when you use his backup, you can give 1 summoner plus 1K, so it can be a 2-5 backup or 15 and then split the 1K to something else. So yeah, that's that. And the last card for level 1 is this 1-1 Dragon Stream event. to play this event, you must have once again a Hibiki or Yamato on the field, which is really easy for the deck. It's like not even a restriction. But yeah, you must have a Yamato or a Hibiki on the field. And the other effect is when you use it, you choose one of your characters. It gets plus 4k until the end of your opponent's turn. And this card sends itself to memory. So free compress, you pump yourself up. You pump one of your characters 4k, so you win a battle, and that character is pretty much guaranteed to live a turn. So it's not bad at all. And that is my level 1 lineup. That's 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 level 1s. On to level 2, it's pretty small. 2 of these Yamatos, 2, 1, 9k. He, of course, him being an oversized level 1, or the oversized level 2 1 cost, he has a downside, which is your other characters cannot side attack. So yeah, that's that. And then lastly, for level 2, I run 2 of these Yamatos, 2, 1, 5k, level assist in front. And he has a climax phase change into a level 3 Yamato. At the beginning of your climax phase change, climax phase, you can pay 2, discard a card. If you do, you bring this guy out from your waiting room, put it to the slot that he was in. So yeah, there is that. So, and that's the only level 2s I run. That's only 4 cards. And on to level 3. Start things off, we run 3 of these Hibikis, 3, 2, 10k. Heals on play, and he also combos with the wind trigger right here. On attack, you give this guy 3k power, and you bounce one of your opponent's character back to their hand. It's a pretty solid climax combo. So yeah, run 3 of him. Next up we have these EOs, 3, 2, 10k. She heals on play. Man, those kids are loud. But I can't do anything about them. 3, 2, 10k. Every time another summoner attacks, she gets plus 1k until the end of the turn. So if other 2 characters attack before assist, she's a 12k base. So it's alright. Just kind of here for the heals. The 3, 2 Yamato, that is... Woo. Can you close the window?
Yeah.
We'll still probably be able to hear them, but... Don't help. 3, 2, 10k. When he comes into play, from hand or via change, all your characters gain the effect of when they reverse an opponent's character, put that character to the bottom of the deck, and he also climax combos with the book. The book, when he attacks with the book, he gets plus 4/5 until the end of your opponent's next turn. So there's that for you. Last card is Lucifer, the card that is brought out by Hibiki's effect. When he's played by Hibiki's effect, you get the top card of your clock and put it underneath him as a marker. So he essentially heals 1. And when he has a marker, he gets plus 3k power, and the effect of once per turn, when his damage is cancelled, your opponent takes 1 damage. So he essentially has Flare Trigger. However, this is not limited to when he comes into play. He can use his Flare Trigger every damn turn if you can get him off. But he needs to have a marker for this, and for him to get a marker, he must specifically be played out by Hibiki's effect. If he's not played by Hibiki's effect, then he's just a 3, 2, 10k vanilla. Literally. So yeah, that is my level 3 lineup. That's 3, 7, 8, 9 level 3s. And on to the climaxes. 1 wind trigger, 3 2k1s, and 4 books. So yeah, that is every card in the deck, and now I'll go over to how I play the deck level by level. Alright guys, now I'll tell you guys how I play this deck level by level, and I need to take a minute to explain Hibiki. So Hibiki, pretty important to the deck. He's kind of the deck's gimmick, because you know, because every time something dies, you get a marker underneath him. The marker is blind, so it can be a climax, it can be a character. So Hibiki can really push you far ahead, or he can really screw your ass over. Because if you get like 7, 8 clean stock or clean markers underneath him, then it's going to be really, really, really hard for your opponent to kill you. That being said, if you get 3 or 4 climaxes underneath him, you gotta play over Hibiki or get him killed. And if you refresh before you even have the opportunity to do so, then Hibiki really screws you up. So yeah, Hibiki is kind of like, if Hibiki goes off, you're probably going to win pretty hard. If he fails you, you're probably gonna lose pretty hard. But yeah, that is Hibiki for you. Yeah, Hibiki is important. So first turn, you definitely want to get a Hibiki out ASAP. So you can start markering it up, because the most effective way to get clean markers under Hibiki is before the first refresh, because during that point you have the most amount of characters in your deck, and yeah, so you want to get Hibiki out as soon as possible. Daichi, main beater of the deck, first turn 1, turn 2, he's essentially 4K unless you play 3 characters first turn, which you really shouldn't be doing. So essentially he's a turn 1, turn 2, 4K beater, which is really good. You know, EO, if you can get her out, that's good. She's another 500 in front, and then she's your brainstorm on wheels, just like this girl right here. But yeah, she is your brainstorm and an assist, so generally a pretty solid card. If you can get something like this out, that she's 5K, level 0, pretty good. But of course, he's still successful with Suicider. If you can't get, you know, your fallback plan is this Makoto 0025. You can only have 1 or less characters out on the field, so essentially you want to have Hibiki and Makoto. That's the other really good level 0 turn you can do, so you can, you know, get markers. She'll be 4K with Hand Encore, which is, you know, lasts you all the way to level 0. But yeah, level 0 is pretty simple. Play these, beat shit up with these 2. And yeah, that is level 0 for you. On to level 1. Level 1, you definitely want to get this Hibiki out. This Hibiki is really good in this set, just because both of your back row is level 0. So yeah, he'll always be a 106K costless attack, which is pretty solid. And he'll be 7K because they both pump him up, so he'll be a 107K almost all the time. So yeah, this Hibiki is really good in this deck. Of course, there is EO. EO is also pretty solid, just because she has Clock Encore, and you know she can hit 8K before assist, usually 9K on offense. Pretty good. Of course, next we have this Alcor. He doesn't get pumped up by Hibiki, and he doesn't pump up EO because he's not a summoner or double, so he's not affected by this. And also, when Alcor dies, you don't get a blind. You don't get a marker underneath Hibiki. Do keep that in mind. So there are some situations where I do like Alcor because of that very reason. But like I said, he also combos with the 2K1 Soul. This combo is pretty good all game. You can start doing it as early as level 1. You can clean your stock out. You can filter your hand because you discard a card. And you get to prepare yourself later into the game. You can grab more of these Hibikis. You can grab your level assist. You can grab the level 3s. Overall, Alcor's assist combo is pretty versatile and is really good. So yeah, I really like this Alcor combo. But yeah, level 1 is pretty generic as well. Just try to beat things up with these 2. You know, 2K1 combo. Prepare for it later into the game. You know, and then you also have the 1/1 backup, I guess. You know, as the game goes on, you want to move this up to the front, or Hibiki. If Hibiki gets too many climaxes under him, then gotta let him go. But anyways, move one of these up, get Yamato out. Level 2, same, honestly pretty generic. The only thing that's new to level 2 is this card and this card right here. 2/1, 9K. Usually he's a 10/5. Usually 10/5 on offense, which is alright, I guess, but not the best thing ever. Yeah, this Yamato does have to change into the level 3. However, I don't use it very often just because it's too intensive. Like, stock and hand. It's too hand and stock intensive. I don't think the deck can really support this change. And also, I value the level assist over the level 3. Getting the level 3 out at level 2 is okay. You're left with a 10K beater, but I mean, you lose your level assist in the process. Sure, you can play 2 level assists and then you change into it, but still, that's just way too hand and stock intensive. And I'd much rather not. But, you know, there are some situations where you do want to change into this Yamato. It's not very often, but it is there for you, so it is nice to know that you still have this option. Yeah, level 2 is still pretty generic, beat shit up. And then level 3 gets pretty fun. You get to heal with these 2. Of course, if you have Hibiki's ClimaxCombo, it's pretty good. The only problem is this 1K1 Soul, so you know, the 1 Soul might lead to your opponent canceling more, but still nonetheless bouncing something and giving him 3K is not bad at all. Also, you know, EO's pretty much just a one-time hit thing. You play her, she gets 12K. She's usually 14K on offense. Not bad, not the greatest, but yeah, that's EO for ya. And if you can hit 11 markers, doesn't happen every game, then you get to bring out Lucifer. And if you get out Lucifer, let's say it's something like this, 13K base, he's 15K offense and defense with flare trigger on wheels. Pretty strong if you can get him out. But usually, I get him out like 25-30% of the time. Doesn't come out very often. But yeah, also, Yamato is kind of like your pseudo game ender that's not Lucifer. Because if your opponent has a small amount of cards left in their deck, let's say they got like 7 or 8 cards left in their deck, if there's only like 1 or 2 climax, let's say like 1 climax left, or if they have like 3 cards left in the deck and there's none of them, and you know they're out of climaxes, you can play Yamato, reverse the, now all your characters get bot deck. When they reverse an opponent's character, that character goes to the bottom of the deck, so you know that's a free damage because you know the bottom cards are climax or are characters, so you can reverse them and then try to get an extra 2 or 1 damage in, and sometimes that can win you the game. So Yamato's a pretty fun card. I enjoy his on-play effect. Not the greatest, pretty situational, but nonetheless it's there for you. And of course you still have Yamato's Climax Combo. He'll be 4/5, so at least Yamato will kill something, right? But yeah, that is how you play the deck level by level. It's not that great special, honestly. It's just kind of vanilla-ish. You just kind of beat things up with high power or decently powered cards. But that's because of Hibiki, because if like I said, if Hibiki goes off, and like if you just get like 10 free like clean markers under Hibiki, it's just so difficult for your opponent to do anything to you. And ways to tell if Hibiki is clean or not is to just count your cards. Best way to do this is by searching your deck. If you can search your deck with ID on play, pay 1, discard a card, search. Yeah, that too. No, I'm looking for EO. Oh. Every time you brainstorm, you get to look through your deck, and of course, let me get the foil one out. That's better. What? Where'd Alcor go? And of course, Climax Combo. You can use a combination of these 3. So every time you search your deck, you should really be counting how many climaxes are in your deck, and you should always just keep in mind how many climaxes are in your stock and in your hand and your waiting room. That's just basic fundamentals. But anyways, every time you search through your deck, let's say there's 4 climaxes in your waiting room, there's 1 in your hand, and you know none's in your stock, and you see 1 in your deck. At that point, you know that there's 2 climaxes on Hibiki because you're only counting 6. So if they're not in your hand, stock, or waiting room, or deck, they must be under Hibiki. And at that point, you have to question yourself, is it really worth keeping Hibiki around? Because there are just some situations where you only have like 5 markers under him, and the 3 of them are climaxes. You gotta play over him, or you just have to send him to the front and make him kill himself, because at that point, he's just not worth it. So every time you search, you should always count your climaxes. So that way you know if Hibiki is clean or not. And that's just a general tip for all marker cards in general. Blind marker cards, I should say, in general. So every time you search with ID, Alcor, or even EO herself, count your climaxes, and that way you can know if Hibiki is clean or not. And yeah, and that is how I play the deck level by level. And lastly, I'll be talking about alternatives. But to be honest, I wouldn't be running anything else in this deck. I think my deck provides, or the build I am running right now, has the best cards that Devil Survivor has to offer in some shape or form. The only thing I would really change to this deck are the ratios of what I run. Like, you can bump Hibiki up to 4. I only choose to run 3, but I've seen some decks run 4, and it seems like a good idea, because if I really want to get Hibiki out turn 1, because Hibiki turn 1 is just too important. If you get him out if you get him out when you're at level 1 or at level 2, then at that point he just doesn't do anything. But also keep in mind, you never want to play 2 Hibikis unless you're suicidal, because if you get 2 Hibikis, every time a character dies, you get a marker underneath each one, and then if they're not clean, you're going to have to take a guess on which one's not the clean one, and then that's just too hard. Don't play 2 Hibikis, just don't. So having 4 can't hurt you, but you can bump this number up to 4 if you want to guarantee the first turn Hibiki. And honestly, yeah, that's about it. You don't have to run the Alcor combo. The Alcor combo, it can be problematic at times just because he doesn't synergize with the rest of the deck. He's not a summoner, doesn't work with the Daichi backup, doesn't work with the 1/1 EO, doesn't work with the 3/2 EO, he doesn't get markers. But yeah, so you don't have to play his Climax Combo. If you're not going to run his Climax Combo, I advise you bump the number of the wind triggers up to 4. So just run 4 books and 4 wind triggers. Yeah, if you don't want to run Alcor, just take him out completely, run more wind triggers, and yeah. You can run more level 3 Hibikis. But yeah, like I said, the deck, everything I have in the deck is already pretty good. I don't think there's any other really good cards in Devil Survivor that stand out. And lastly, you can take out Lucifer, because he's only cool, he's only good if you pull him out by Hibiki's effect, which, like I said, doesn't happen all the time, just because, things can go wrong, and if your opponent runs bounce, every time they run Wind Trigger and then they bounce Hibiki, he loses all his marker, and then at that point, you'll never ever play Lucifer. And if you never play Lucifer, then this is a really dead card all game. So, you know, you can take out Lucifer completely from the deck, or you could just keep the 1. I wouldn't really try to. 2's kind of, maybe you could try to, but I wouldn't. I would just run him at 1. He's a fun card, so that's why I keep him at 1. But honestly, if you're gonna like take this to a tournament, maybe you could just take out Lucifer out completely. But yeah, that is my Devil Survivor 2 deck profile. It's pretty solid for its price. It's a pretty good card. It's a pretty fun deck. So yeah, that is all I have to say for the deck profile. And until next time, guys. Hibiki.